I think we were planning to meet up later, and yeah, I think that's how bad things were for me at that point. Before reaching out to you, I was like so frustrated because I felt like I was doing all the things. I was eating, I would say, I would say fairly clean, and I think in terms of like workouts, I was very consistent, and I know like sleep was probably not 100%, but I felt like it was enough. So I thought I was like checking off all the boxes, but I think that didn't really show in what I was looking for, which was like to feel more confident, to feel lighter, and yeah, to feel more in control. So I wasn't really sure what to do at that point.
All right. Hey guys, this is Coach Mason here from Self Made Athletes, and this is going to be um, an awesome chat and sit down with one of my incredible clients, Pavi. Her transformation over the last few months, I would say, has been pretty insane. And it's not just on the physical side of things, it's more on how she showed up for herself behind the curtains, behind the scenes, every single day. Um, in fact, I didn't really have to worry too much about Pavi. Um, but yeah, I wanted to say, Pavi, I'm super proud of you, of everything that you've accomplished so far. You look amazing, and I know that it's been a bit of a journey for you. So how are you feeling right now?
Feeling awesome, and thank you for saying that. No, I appreciate it. I'm feeling great. Like I think looking back at the past, I would say now it's been maybe 6 or more months since we first talked. Um, Definitely like a huge pivot, I would say, from like where I was and a lot of things that I've learned.
Cool. Let's rewind a little bit. Before joining SMA, where were you at both physically and mentally? What were some of the things that you were struggling with on the day-to-day basis?
I think at the time I think probably I feel like the lowest point I have felt in a really long time. And I think it was because I felt like in terms of my work life and personal life, I just felt like I was sort of at an all time low with everything that was going on. I just felt like things were going out of control. And the one thing I always felt that I had control over was my fitness and my activity. And I think because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to be seeing for knowing that I have been like active for a long time in my life, I just didn't really feel that inside. And I think in terms of confidence too, it was really low. I think when I first reached out to you and we were trying to plan out like our first session together, I think I literally forced you into booking a session with me because I was like, I need a win. Because I think we were planning to meet up later. And yeah, I think that's how bad things were for me at that point, before reaching out to you.
And you know what? I remember when we were first talking, you mentioned a few things. You wanted very specific things, actually. You wanted to feel lighter, you wanted to feel more confident, and I think the biggest word that you used was just to be in control again, based off of how you were feeling at that time. And we didn't want to follow any just like random diets or workouts, as you were going through some of the motions. Um, do you think that that kind of paints the picture? Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because I think at the point I was like so frustrated because I felt like I was doing all the things. I was eating, I would say, I would say fairly clean. And I think in terms of like workouts, I was very consistent. And I know like sleep was probably not 100%, but I felt like it was enough. So I thought I was like checking off all the boxes, but I think that didn't really show in what I was looking for, which was like to feel more confident, to feel lighter, and yeah, to feel more in control. So I wasn't really sure what to do at that point.
You actually mentioned a lot of good points here. And so when we fast forward from when you first started seeing me, we didn't really do any extremes. We focused on nutrition that would fit your lifestyle and kind of work around those dietary needs. Um, what was that like for you at first? Was there a big bit of a learning curve in terms of I thought I was eating clean, but this is what I found out? Or was it, hey, I was actually eating clean and basically Mason just told me X, Y, and Z, and that actually just changed the game. Like, can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that was like honestly the biggest eye opener for me was the nutrition and how I was fueling my body because I'm vegetarian and dairy free, so that puts a lot of limits on what I could have. But I was doing what I thought I was doing was the right things, but I wasn't doing things like counting like calories in and out. I wasn't counting my macros. I wasn't tracking anything, so I just thought, okay, like these are the things I would assume are like the right things for your diet, and on a diet like mine. And I think what changed it for me was some of the things that we discussed and like focusing on the right macros. And I remember there was one thing you said, which was about like the volume and what you're eating. And that was the biggest game changer for me because I was thinking like, I have to like do this one to one with like my protein intake. That's ridiculous. Like, how much can I actually eat? But I realized with like the food and the way I started like proportioning and like focusing on protein, like I feel like I'm actually like eating more and losing weight, which is insane. Like I don't feel like I need to starve, which is what most of these like if you go to like any sort of challenge that they're like, oh, we'll get you lean in like 3 months or something, it's like it's something that's temporary and like you're not doing the right things. You're starving yourself, and then you're gonna go back. It's just like a yo-yo diet. But this was something I wanted to maintain for the rest of my life, and I think once that unlocked for me, I was like, wow, like I feel like I can actually do this for the rest of my life without feeling like I'm restrictive. Um, yeah, so I think that was like that was huge. That was huge for me.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, we'll come back to this. You ate more, you lost weight, and you've been in the best shape of your life. But what also really, really stood out to me was everyone says they're busy, okay?
Yeah.
Busy to their capacity, okay? But in your sense, even on busy weeks, right? I think you were going through some stuff at work. You were going through some interviews. You had family events like lined up for maybe a whole month, month and a half kind of deal. You had your brother's wedding. That was really the catalyst to why you wanted to do this right like right there and then you had to do it because there's this big pivotal moment that you want to show up for, right? You in the midst of all of that, the busyness, the chaos, everything, you still found a way. So what helped you stay consistent through all of that?
I think the commitment to myself. So like I don't think that's a selfish thing to say, but it was just like the commitment to myself and my health was what was really important for me, and I knew with like everything that's lining up, like I need to be in the best shape, and that goes like physically and mentally, to be able to like be present for my brother's wedding, like family and everything that was going on at that time. So I think that was one thing that held true for me. And I think by that point, I had already developed like a consistent approach to nutrition, getting in like my training. So I felt like I didn't have to do much to actually make things or like prioritize things a little bit differently. And I think you also gave me some tips on what I could continue doing when things do get busy. Like how much can I actually fit in a day? Does that mean like, okay, I'm getting in more movement, doing more steps because I wasn't able to hit the gym today? Does that mean like playing a little bit of Tetris with what I'm eating and focusing on like protein? And I think that's what I kept in mind when things got busy. And you're also gonna be eating like so much different types of food. Like you don't have control over what you're gonna be eating. You don't know what's gonna be on the table. But I think when I was put in those situations being more intuitive with what I'm actually eating, and being able to focus on like the right macros, I think, from a nutrition standpoint too. Nutrition and yeah.
That's amazing. And you know what? I know that we briefly talked about this. You got into the best shape of your life. You are literally rocking abs. You've dropped over 10 pounds since we started.
It's
And
actually over 15.
okay, I stand corrected. Over 15 pounds. Um, what changes have you noticed that go beyond what you see in the mirror? Things like your energy, things like your confidence, your mindset.
I think for sure the biggest thing for me has been confidence. And I think the confidence and that ability to change something that I have been struggling with, I should say, for my whole life, especially through like adolescence. And I was thinking, like, if I'm able to change and do something about this, like, I felt like I could do anything. So I think that was the level of confidence that I got from my transformation. And yeah, and I definitely think I can apply like what I was able to do to like anything at this point. And I think when you're there, it's like it's a high. I think being able to see those results, like being able to start to see like muscles form on your body, and you're like, yeah.
I love that for you. Honestly, I love how this whole journey has just been about how to sustainably make the results show up for you. Um, I guess if someone's watching this right now and they're feeling the way that you used to feel, tired, overwhelmed, um, maybe not that confident in their bodies, what would you say to them?
I think I would say like it. I mean, to me, it depends on like what they've been able to try and what's not working. But if personal training or looking for a coach is something you've kind of tossed around, because I struggled with that too, because it is expensive and it is an investment. But this is an example of something that's really worked for me and something I can carry on. Like Mason's my coach, but he's taught me tools and like things that I can actually take into like I would say the rest of my life. So I think don't stop second guessing yourself if you're thinking about like training, and if you're thinking about looking for a coach. I think especially if you're like early in your fitness journey and health journey, I think it's like a really good initial step. And don't give up. I think that's what happens too. Like you kind of just let go and give up at that point when you've tried everything. It's like, ah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because that's where I felt like I was too. There's definitely always like a path to figure out what that solution for you is going to be.
1,000%. And that's exactly why I do what I do. Because one, it's more about educating you, equipping you with all the knowledge and tools that I possibly could know so that you can carry that forward, moving into whatever season of your life that might be. But yeah, thank you so much, Pavi. Thanks so much for sharing this. You are literally another masterpiece and proof that when you do things the right way, with structure, with support, with patience, you just need to make one decision for yourself at a time to transform your entire life. So, thank you so much for sharing, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, Mason.